Hey everyone, it's Anna. I thought I would take you down to the garden and give you a quick update. Today is July 4th, and I just cannot believe how big everything has gotten just in a week. Here are some beautiful cosmos we have blooming, and it looks like there's some snapdragons that are getting ready to bloom. Here in one of the beds, I have a nasturtium that's getting ready to take over the world, and there's some echinacea, there's a delicata squash in here, some tomatoes, lots of chamomile and some flowers, all kinds of things. Here is another bed. This is a bed of kale and tomatoes and sunflowers. And in the lower left-hand corner, you can see that echinacea again and the tomatoes that are behind the echinacea plant. There's also a row of lettuce in this bed as well. This is those onions that I overwintered so I can save seed for next year. There's also some tomatoes in here, and this is where my cucumbers are supposed to be growing, but it's just been too cool for them. Here's another look at a few of the beds. You can see down the walkway there underneath the trellis. The beans have started to climb up. They've almost reached the top. A couple of them have reached the top. So here's another look at those onion seed heads. These are going to be really beautiful when they open up and bloom. It'll be like a big white poof ball of flowers. And the bees will love them, and the hummingbirds will come in and enjoy them as well. Here's some of the blueberries. We don't have any ripe ones yet, but they're starting to swell up and look beautiful. And I'm getting behind on picking my chamomile. You're supposed to pick the chamomile flowers before they get that big, large yellow center. So I need to trim those down so they can put on new flowers. You can see Oliver has quite the little banked racetrack there around the center bed. And here's a look at the garden from one of the corners. So you can see just how tall everything has gotten in the last week. Especially those sunflowers there on the left. Good gracious, they're taller than I am. This is one of my squash plants. I don't know what kind it is because Oliver so kindly pulled my labels out. But it's growing nicely, and hopefully we'll have some blooms on it soon. This bed also has some beautiful romaine lettuce, and there's some calendula there getting ready to bloom on the left-hand side as well. Here's a look at the scarlet runner beans that I have growing on this trellis. You can see how they used to be like 2.5 feet up the trellis, and now they're almost to the top. In fact, there's one of them there at the end that is at the top. So soon they'll be putting on more leaves, and it'll just be like a canopy of leaves under these trellises. And here you can see how the bean vines grow up the trellis and they wrap around the trellis all by themselves. This is a look at one of the sunflower stalks and how at the crotch of each one of the leaf stems, there are more leaves coming out, and those will also put on sunflower stems. Here is some beautiful purple pansies. Another look at that great big nasturtium. Hopefully this starts putting out bloom heads soon. And here's another look at that echinacea that's putting on lots of blossom heads. I think this row of garden bed is going to be really beautiful once everything starts blooming. Here's a look at that kale, and I swear this kale grows like 6 inches every week. Here is the lavender that we have down there, and then this is our sweetmeat squash. So it's growing nicely, and hopefully we'll start putting on some blossoms. And there's all kinds of dill in this bed. We have so much dill. It was all volunteer. So the garlic is starting to put on scapes, so I need to get out there and harvest these and either share them with friends or maybe make some garlic pesto. And it's definitely been the year of the lettuces for us. These lettuce heads are so large that I don't think I've ever grown lettuce this huge. And here's another look at that black-seeded Simpson lettuce that I planted, and I love its chartreuse green color. So beautiful. The tomatoes have started putting on flowers as well. And then here is another nasturtium that I have in a different bed planted next to a really beautiful red sail lettuce. And we even have some of our peas starting to put on flowers. That's really exciting because that means we'll soon have peas. So these were planted really late this year, but hopefully we'll get some peas. So here's a look at the garden from the other corner. You can just see how big everything has gotten this week. It's crazy. We had some warmer temperatures, so I think that has contributed to the growth. I have snipped off some of these sunflower leaves. I think I need to get in and snip off some more now that the sunflowers are getting taller. It's so crazy. This bed is total chaos. This bed is pretty much completely volunteers. There are some tomatoes that I planted in here, but everything else is volunteers. All the dill, all the sunflowers. There's even some volunteer lettuce and strawberries and even a volunteer rhubarb in this bed. Here's some other lettuces and dill, of course, that we have planted in front of some tomatoes. And this is the other side of the bean trellis. You can see that one bean up at the top, reaching for the sky. The blackberries and raspberries are doing well. The raspberries don't have any ripe berries yet, but you can see they're getting bigger and starting to blush, I think. So hopefully we'll start having some ripe raspberries soon. And the blackberries have put on all different kinds of flowers. Soon there'll be like a sea of white and a sea of bees. The bees will just be crazy busy in here. And we also have that gorgeous peony planted by the garden. She has 2 big beautiful blooms on her, and they're just beautiful. I also stopped by the goat barn on my way past the garden to see what the ladies were up to, and they decided to come over for a visit. So we've got Rose and Violet. They are twin sisters. Violet is the one here in the front with the collar, and then here comes Rose. She's the one that has the larger single horn. So thanks for visiting us today. Bye.